Hello you guys and welcome back to the channel, and today's channel we're going to be talking about my personal experience with COVID-19. This channel is called DUFE, which stands for Duhamel and Felipe. My name is Felipe and I'll be talking to you about my COVID-19 experience. At the beginning of 2020, by January, I want to say by the 26th, 26th, it was a day in between when Kobe Bryant had died. I was hospitalized urgently because I could no longer breathe. At the beginning of the month of January, I was having really severe cases of not breathing properly. As you guys know, we had our 3 Pomeranians and we would take care of them on a daily basis. We would go and walk them properly and on like twice a day, and we also care for my dad. So my dad was 80 years old, or is 80 years old, and my partner is 27 years old now. So that makes my dad actually 77. So I had this weird case where I've never experienced pneumonia. So to me, when I was informed that it was a severe case of pneumonia, it was very strange for me. I, for some reason, had not, just gonna go ahead and play with this really quickly because I've never seen myself without the glasses and with a mask on. So for a very long period of time, I was having this chest pain. At the beginning of the month of January, I was having rashes in my body. I would actually have like rashes all over my body. I was having a lot of headaches on a daily basis. I had a lack of appetite, as well as I was having a lot of headaches, I don't even want to say they were migraines, but they were like severe cases of headache where I couldn't hold it. Like I was taking so much medicine for my headache that I couldn't resist it. I couldn't handle it. It was so difficult to bear with the pain of it that I would just I just wanted to rip off my hair. Then on top of that, every single night I would wake up crying because I couldn't breathe. And on top of it, I would also have high fever. So my partner has always been very careful with me and always been very mindful of taking care of myself. So he would buy Robitussin, he would buy cough syrups, he would buy emergencies, he would buy, I'm always been into very natural medicine as well. So I love juices, so he would bring juices home. And even though I was sick, I still had to go to work because there's no if, ands, or buts. If you're sick and you're by yourself, in this case we're still by ourselves, and you have no one to get support from, and it's either you do it or you either stay homeless. That has been our cases in so many experiences before. And I think for speaking from my point of view and my perspective and my experience and what I've dealt with before, I feel like this was one of the difficult cases that we've ever dealt with, Duhamel and I, as a relationship. Just because I couldn't even breathe, like I couldn't even have a sentence without like it was so difficult. Like I cannot express myself how difficult it was. It was just so, it was terrifying. Like I don't wish that to anyone. When I hear cases of having mild cases of pneumonia or mild cases of coronavirus, I'm like, that's awesome. I'm great. I'm grateful that you're either asymptomatic or you have mild case of coronavirus or you didn't even feel anything, and lucky you and bless you. At the beginning, like I said, I think I had it. I was hospitalized between the 23rd, 26th, somewhere around those lines. I still have my documentation. And I remember the very first day that I was hospitalized, the next morning we had the announcement that Kobe Bryant had died. Then we had the outbreak at Wuhan, China, for the coronavirus. And little did I know that I was not gonna make it. My doctors continuously said that my body wasn't strong, my immune system was really weak, to the point that they didn't have high hopes of me making it. And it broke our hearts, me and Domel's, and I can say it out loud just because we've passed that. And I remember, the very first couple of days when he would ask, he would reach out to the doctors and he would be like, when is he going to be out? When is he going to be able to make, to just live here? Because I was tired, like just staying in the hospital increases or decreases the money in your wallet. And if you don't have insurance, that's a terrifying thing to deal with here in North America. No, not in America, North America. Let's make sure we get that right today. So it can get very, very terrifying, and having no support, like I said, monetarily support from someone else, it's just more difficult. Me taking care of my dad as well as my boyfriend taking care of myself, it was just such an unbearable thing to deal with. And like I said, we've never dealt with anything when it came to pneumonia or anything else like that. We've never been, you hear it here or there, or here and there, or anywhere. Basically, you hear about having pneumonia, taking care of the walking pneumonia. There's people who have walking pneumonia. Some cases they just have this like palpitations and hard times to breathe, and it just, like I said, it's just something very terrifying. So I was intubated with the respirator with oxygen, because I could no longer make it. I was like that. Every time I would close my eyes and Duhamel was not there for me, I would literally not go to sleep because I felt like I was just not gonna make it. I've talked to him about this experience, and I think it's very painful to hear it from someone you love. And I would even call my friends in Mexico, my friends in the States, and I would call, as many people as possible as I could that are very close to me, that I was feeling comfortable to, let them know that I was dealing with something very strange, because not even the doctors stated that they weren't sure 100% that it was going to be like a case of pneumonia. So to them, it was something strange. Little did we know that it was something that my body was very fighting against too. So I was there for a full week, and I was given, I've always been as healthy as possible. However, I've always lacked of a very weak or compromised immune system. So I'm always, I haven't been very cautious, but I try to be as cautious and careful as I can possibly be. And when it came to have that pneumonia, because they were not 100% sure that it was pneumonia. I think they were just scared of it. They just didn't know anything about it. At the time, they had the outbreak in Wuhan, China, for the coronavirus, and people in the United States, they were not even say Mexico or Latin America or South America or anywhere else, they were careful about it. It was something that really affected my life, and after that, I remember, I would always go on Instagram and go on research to see what would happen in Wuhan, China. Like, I was always so mindful and terrified and careful, and something that always was in my head. And I would even pray, and when I would pray and I would talk to my parents, my mom, my sister, a couple of friends, I would be like, I'm just so terrified about this virus and something is going on. It took me a full week to get recovered, not to 100%, but I want to say to 70%. They started giving me this, I was connected to the respirator or the oxygen to make sure that I was, had high levels of oxygen, because by myself I couldn't make it. Then on top of that, I was, I remember initially at the hospital that I was, I was told that I was going to be on a floor called like the 0 zone, or like the 0 neutral zone or something like that, where the oxygen levels were really, in order for you to breathe properly and have like a better oxygen. And I had never dealt with it before. Last year actually I had a small surgery of my appendix, and this was completely in a different level, and I was just mind blown by it. It took me by surprise by how painful it was. It was really difficult, like I said, to go to sleep. I would wake up with rashes in my body. I would wake up with vomiting, lots of diarrhea. I had headaches, and I had hot temperature. And I would remember I would go to sleep and I would feel myself crying because of the pain. And even Domel would wake me up and be like, "Hey, are you okay?" And I'll be like, "Yes, I'm fine." I'm trying my best to do the best I can. And I lost a lot of pounds. And I started having this lack of appetite where I just wasn't comfortable enough to eat. Like, I was like not interested in it. Like, I would just drink because I felt like I was thirsty. And as far as right now, I don't think I remember having any taste at all. So that was in the beginning of January, and no one ever knew at the moment what coronavirus was. I was always very comfortable and honest, like I said, with my family and friends, to let them know what was going on in my head, in my body, and people who I really truly care for, people who showed up interested in my health. I would tell them, I'm doing okay, things are not going that great. And I was also careful and worried about my dad and my partner, just because they're the best thing in my life. And Domel has given so much. He would go to sleep right next to me without being mortified, without being worried about anything, without being concerned that I would, transmit some type of virus. And both of us are a little bit obese. Like, I have man boobs, I have a stomach, like a little bit, like we call it, like an alcoholic stomach. Like, that's what we kind of call it in Spanish, English, Spanish slang for Mexicans. Like, we have una panza de cerveza, or like una panza de borracho, because you basically have this like huge stomach because you eat so much. Like, the whole rest of your body is like skinny, but then you have like boom, 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 And I was concerned that I would transmit something to my partner, because it's everything that I love, everything that I have in my life, and everything that has shown me true interest without having anything in return. And to me, it was mortifying that I could possibly transmit and that I could not handle. And honestly, like I said, it was one of the worst experiences that I've ever experienced. I spent the whole week being on medication, and I still am on medication. I was having lots of pills. I was given like 3 to 5 different treatments for having the steroids inhaled. I was given, because of the steroids and having changed my blood sugar levels, I would be back and forth all the time with my sugar levels, and I actually became diabetic. And because of that, I was given insulin, because my levels at the beginning were between 95, 96 to 100. Then for some reason it changed to 200, 250, 300, 350, 400. And it became this huge and intense experience for me, because I could no longer eat what I was supposed to eat. Like, I would only have a piece of chicken and like a little bit of vegetables and a little bit of fruit, and that was about it. They would treat me like I had diabetes, and I've never dealt with it before. And it was something that really scared me, not only because of the diabetes, because I also have a weak and compromised immune system. And on top of that, I was dealing with pneumonia. So I was here just dealing with all this terrifying things. And I would literally pray to God. I never say it out loud, because I always taught myself that when it comes to having God in your life, you thank Him internally. You don't have to pray it out loud, or it's like those pictures that say, if you're doing something for someone else, don't take pictures of you donating money, or don't be like that kind of people. Like, in just a quick example, like as an example, in my work life, I've always dealt, even whether I'm in the gas station, whether I'm servicing with a great experience at cosmetics, or whether I'm on customer service over the phone, whether I'm helping you to achieve something. I've always dealt with this type of behavior where they like treat you bad and then at the same time they do something good. And I just don't think that matches your personality. Like, you're either good and you're kind and respectful, or you're just either bad. And so I've always internally have, thank God, the earth, the nature, my mother, everything that, the karma, everything else. And I reached out to my own self and, forgave, the horrors that a lot of people have done to me, because either I'm gay, I'm Latino, because I wasn't, necessarily what they were expecting from me, from my family members, or even myself. And I think that helped a lot. Having myself, being honest with myself, it really, really did a change. And like I said, after a full week of having treatments and being connected to the oxygens, they were not 100. I think I spent there a whole week and a half, and I got a little bit better. Once I was a little bit better and I could control my own respiration, or like my own breathing system, I was able to go home. They explained to me that, for example, and I always say this, like from my whole hand, it's kind of like the size of my lungs, and the only portion out of this that I was using for my lungs, it was just this tiny little bit. I was in a really bad shape. When they told me that, I literally lost lots of my hope. And I was like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it. I'm not 100% sure. All I can remember is one night when I was so tired of doing the treatments and being connected to the respirator and having taken my medicine because of the sugar levels going up, and then having problems with breathing. I was sitting in the couch, and Duhamel never really took, like I said, this happened in January, so we didn't know it was coronavirus or anything else like that. So Duhamel never really took care of himself, because he's always been blessed and with great health, and as well as he's always shown me that he truly cares for my person for who I am, not because of what I can give him, if that makes any sense. He's like being the most honest, loyal, truthful, kind human being that I've ever met in my whole entire life. Like, he's been the most honest person. And so he would go and take me, a snack or two of fruit. He would go and buy me food because I was hungry, or he would just check my juice, or he would just go and companion me, throughout his whole day. I remember he would spend the night with me. He would wake up at 6-7 a.m., go to shower, then he would go and walk my dad, and then because my dad needed exercise, he would go and help my dogs, walk them, change them, feed my dad, shower him. He would even take him to my dad to the hospital to get his regular checkups to make sure that everything was working properly. And it was a really difficult experience for both of us, because he would go to work, and then he would go spend time with me. He would stay awake for like 4 hours, and he would go ahead and repeat the same routine over and over again for like a week and a half. And COVID happened. We had the worldwide outbreak, and after that, I don't think I ever was the same. I became very meticulous and very careful about every single thing that would come into the house. And then on top of that, we were, requested by our apartments because I was let go by my employers, and it was kind of like a situation where I was let go, but I also let go of that job because they wanted to force me, because they wanted me to go back, but people were getting coronavirus and they were not taking proper precautions. It was kind of like both sides, like both of our ends were agreeing to disagreeing. So because we were not able to make it anymore, monetarily to pay our rent, we ended up, Florida at the moment was very expensive. It's something that we really liked. However, it wasn't something that we wanted to stay in there forever. And Duhamel really pushed me to be the better of myself. Like he was like, it's very expensive to be here right now, and the minimum wage at the moment, it was like $8 or $8.25 or $7.25, somewhere around that. And the price point for the rent and paying your home, it's kind of the same as if you were living in California. So we were like, why not go back? So we decided to move back, and after a couple months, I still worried about every single thing that I would, do in order to not get coronavirus, because a lot of people are just careless. They don't really care about it. They think it's just something like the flu, or they really don't believe because if they've never heard of anyone having it, or they just don't think that they're gonna get it because just something that it was invented or it was a hoax. So to my personal point of view, we ended up going to get tested for the coronavirus by blood. And then we also did the swabs. And my results tested positive for the coronavirus antibodies. And it was a shocker in a way, because I really wasn't expecting that. But at the same time, I kind of was. And ever since I had the pneumonia in January, I had always taken precautions. Like I remember before leaving the hospital for the whole week and a half, I requested my nurses like, hey, am I able to please get a face mask, an N95, one of those green ones. And we were not in a global pandemic at the moment. So they were like, that's fine, we're gonna go ahead and give you a couple of them. So they gave me a couple of them, and I started ordering more like the surgical masks, the blue ones. And we weren't prepared for it. We were really prepared. And once the global pandemic happened, everything fell down for us in a personal point of view. And it's just so uncomfortable to find out that a lot of people are just not mindful and careful and honest about their status. A lot of people are getting infected. And I know for a fact that if I would get probably coronavirus again, maybe I won't be able to make it. Maybe I will, but why would I take the risk? If I'm not taking any risk, why would you take the risk? And I'm very careful. Like you guys have seen me throughout this video. Like I don't even touch my skin with my own fingers. Like I have big bottles that we bought at Costco of the hand sanitizer, and we wash our hands as much as we can. We have hand sanitizer in the bathroom, we have hand sanitizer in the bed, we have hand sanitizer by the TV, we have hand sanitizer by the sinks. So we're very careful. We clean our surfaces as much as we can, as much as possible. And it's something that it has taken the world in a different level. So if this is something that can relate to you, I want to say I'm sorry that you're having this experience, because I also am having it. And I wish that, I could tell you this is going to go fast, but I'm going to be real honest. I think it's going to last a little while. And whether if it takes a month or 2 months to go away, whether if it takes a whole year, the best thing that we can do is be responsible and be honest about each other's, and try to treat each other's with kindness, because the world's already dealing with so much disrupt that the only thing that we could do to help this situation is to be better at ourselves, be kind to one another. And this is my personal point of view when it comes to the coronavirus. I have nothing else to say. I have nothing else to add on. And I feel like you guys should be mindful. If you guys know, I say this with all the respect and love. I'm not only using the face mask for my protection, but I'm also using it for you. Because what better way to treat each other with respect that you use your face mask? I use my face mask until this goes all away, until this goes taken care of, and that way we can go ahead and start taking care of ourselves. After that, you can do whatever you want. However, in the meantime, we want to make sure that we continue this respect to each other. So I just want to send out a very positive message of being honest and kind and respectful. We're living in the same situation every day, every single time, and we're losing. I have lost family members, and I have lost acquaintances and friends that have dealt with the coronavirus, and I myself, I'm a survivor of the coronavirus. So get better at your health, get better not only in your skincare, get better not only from what you're eating, get better at cleaning yourself, at cleaning your house, at being committed to being a healthy person. So it does take a while, and I'm also in the process of that. And I just want to say it's something that is not as easy, but like as my mom would say, if it was easy, everyone would be able to do it. And in my personal point of view, I am gonna make the difference. I want to make sure that you guys know that you guys are aware that this is something difficult, but we can definitely embrace the situation and get over it with as soon as possible. So with all this being said, you guys, I hope you guys stay truthful to yourself, be kind to one another, and share some love. Your experience with the coronavirus has been different probably than mine, and I want to say I respect you and I value you as a human being. But not only that, I also want to tell you that I'm with you. You know, I've dealt with the coronavirus, and it's something very careful, you know, something to be careful about, and something very, very scary, something that, you know, has created so much damage to so many families out there from so many different countries, from so many different states, that you have no idea. You know, with all this being said, guys, I just want to share some love. Hope you guys are staying tuned for the next videos. Make sure you subscribe on the channel, click the notification button to stay notified, and also follow us on Instagram. For Felipe, it will be Art of a Spirit, which is myself, and then for Duhamel, it will be duhamel.bentley. Follow us on Instagram. I'll see you guys soon. Make sure you stay tuned for the next videos. Bye bye.